morning. For the third time, I am starting a video on a northbound, early morning Hudson Line Express train. Today, we're going up to Dutchess County to explore the insane saga behind this bizarre abandoned railroad, the Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut Railroad. So, without any further ado, let's cut to the history section. I'll stop being annoying, and I'll see you up in Poughkeepsie. The Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut Railroad's history can be traced back to 1866, when their predecessor, the Dutchess and Columbia Railroad, was chartered to run from Plum Point, in what is now Beacon, to the New York and Harlem Railroad Station at Craryville. However, despite connecting two fast-growing railroads, it was not intended to be a bridge line, but rather to bring coal from the mines in Columbia County to the Hudson River. But even in the 19th century, Columbia County was still full of NIMBYs, so the company's mission changed to be a bridge line to the Connecticut Western Railroad, linking the Hudson River and Hartford. Soon, the railroad became a kind of double bridge line, as the Boston, Hartford, and Erie Railroad, who had already built lines from Boston and Providence to Waterbury, Connecticut, planned to connect with this line to reach the Hudson River. Construction soon started, and in July of 1869, service started between Plum Point, now known as Dutchess Junction on the Hudson River, and Hopewell Junction. But service soon expanded, reaching Millbrook in October 1869 and Pine Plains in February 1870. However, by this point, the Boston, Hartford, and Erie, who leased the line, was in dire financial straits, after losing tons of money attempting to build a line across the very hilly areas of central Dutchess County, and in March of 1870 they failed outright. However, the owners of the Dutchess and Columbia, rather than going through the restructuring process, did the most 19th century crackpot railroad executive thing ever. They decided to stage an overnight takeover of the line. Just past midnight on March 22nd of 1870, they did exactly that, by running an overnight train along the whole line and taking back every station from the Boston, Hartford, and Erie. Only 3 days later, service resumed, which is an impressive turnaround even for the 1870s. By 1871, the railroad was completed to Millerton, becoming the bridge line it was planned to be, but by 1876, the line's competition was too much, and it went bankrupt. However, it was brought back from the dead as the Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut Railroad. Throughout the late 19th century, the line was booming, but by the 1910s, competition with other lines in such a rural area caused service to deteriorate, and in 1938, everything north of Hopewell Junction was abandoned. The section south of Hopewell stayed intact as a freight line to the Hudson, but even now, this sits abandoned, last used in 2011 for a Metro-North engine move. So with that very long history section out of the way, let's go see the remnants of this railroad! Hello, so I made it to Poughkeepsie. I am in front of the Poughkeepsie Bridge. This actually isn't about the railroad we're tracking, but it is an old railroad bridge. Sadly, I'm not able to go up there because the little elevator that takes you up from the river is sadly closed. But yeah, this is a very cool bridge. It was opened in the 1880s, I think. I'll put it at a text box. Had a fire in 1974, which severely damaged it, and then it reopened as a pedestrian walkway in 2009. Would it be better used as a train line to serve Ulster County? Yes. Is it still cool? Also yes. But that actually doesn't have anything to do with the railroad we're seeing today. Okay, so you could argue that the Poughkeepsie Bridge is kind of related because the Dutchess and Columbia's original lesser successor built the bridge. That being said, though, the Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut never ran on it or even had trackage rights on it, so it's not really related for what we're seeing in this video. So with that, I'll see you in Millbrook, the town that houses our first few remnants. Alrighty, we're here in front of the bank of Millbrook, and this, as you would expect, has railroad history. But what I didn't expect, there's a little historical poster here, which is really cool. So, you already heard about this in the history section. Now let's find out why I'm at a random bank. And this was their administration building. So, they reached Millbrook in October of 1869, and according to this poster, they built this building in 1870 as their headquarters. Later, their offices were moved to Dutchess Junction, which you will see later in this video, down Beacon. And since 1891, this has been the Bank of Millbrook. So yeah, very cool. It's not the old station, but it's a cool thing. However, one remnant of the old station does still remain, also in this town. So let's head just up that way, a better block to see it. Alrighty, so this is the Merritt Bookstore. It's a little bookstore just north of the main street, and the railroad's route through this town it's not actually very well documented, but on Open Railway map, it's shown as heading down the village green and then up through here. So this was the old freight house. There are conflicting sources about if the actual passenger station still exists. A Poughkeepsie Journal article from 2019 says it doesn't, and quotes the Millbrook Historical Society in saying it doesn't, but the New York Existing Stations website says it does. But if it does, it's in someone's backyard, and I'm not going traipsing around backyards. But another historical poster, who knew? So this is about railroad maintenance, and yeah, you can pause it if you want to read more. But this is the Merit Bookstore. So this was the old freight house. Of course, it was expanded. Just that little smaller building is the original one, and you can see those freight doors. So yeah, this is Millbrook, New York, which has surprisingly a lot of railroad history. And this is just the great thing about exploring abandoned railroads, especially built around this time, is back then railroads were like the most competitive industry there was. So there were so many lines, and railroads would aim to be the best or the fastest or the most comfortable, and it's just so cool exploring old railroad things like this. So yeah, I'm gonna go get some food because I'm hungry, and I'll see you on the bus back to Poughkeepsie, because we have to go that way to get down to Beacon, because rural transit sucks. I just remembered that I forgot to film me getting on the train in Poughkeepsie, but I am now almost in Beacon. That's the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. I'm not saying its full name for reasons. If you want to know those reasons, look up Hamilton Fish III on Wikipedia. It's named for a very, very, very bad person. And yeah, anyhow, I'm at Beacon. I've about an hour over here, and this is a cool town, so I am gonna have some lunch. In case you didn't get enough food shots in last week's video, the one about the Zephyr, here's a food shot. I'm gonna eat this now. Hello, welcome to the Beacon Post Office. The bus is kind of like doing a weird detour thing. I'm not sure if it's because it left late and it's supposed to do that, or if the driver's just doing the wrong routing, but it looks like I'll still be able to see the thing I want to see up in Hopewell Junction, which is where we're going next. It's an old station. It looks like yes, but if not, then I'll go out to Hopewell Junction for nothing. But it looks like probably yes. So, see you there. Hi, I'm editing the video now, and I just realized that I talked like a lot about random bus schedule stuff that I'm guessing you guys don't care about. Essentially, the gist is Dutchess County bus schedules don't conform to reality in the slightest. My bus left 12 minutes late going there, and it was like 25 when I arrived, and then coming back it was like 30 late, and then by the time we got back to Beacon it was almost an hour late. So yeah. Dutchess County bus schedules do not conform to reality. Keep that in mind if you're ever planning to do a trip on Dutchess County local buses, which I'm sure tons of you are planning to do. And now, see you in Hopewell Junction. Well, this is the Hopewell Junction Depot. I don't have much time here, but there's a little mini caboose, New Haven Railroad of course, because the main line through here used to be the New Haven. The museum appears to be closed. This is now a rail trail. This is the old Metro North line. Oh, that's the old Delaware and Hudson caboose. So, it's the map. So, of course, the line didn't do this. That's the trail itself. But this is the old Beacon line, owned by the BMTA, which the tracks of are down there and then go down that way. Going up this way is the old New Haven Railroad route over the bridge, over the Poughkeepsie Bridge, which you saw earlier, which doesn't exactly relate to us, but the main thing that relates to us is down that way from where it came. There's not a very well-preserved routing of it, but essentially through here was the old Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut Railroad running down there to Beacon, and then up there to Millbrook, and then up to the Connecticut state line eventually. This is an old signal tower, which is cool, and this is an old Delaware and Hudson caboose, built in 1916 in Oneonta, New York. So yeah, that is the history of the Hopewell Junction Depot. This was a station on both the New Haven and, of course, the Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut. The museum is sadly closed, although this is the original station building. It appears that the tours are 10 to 2 on Saturdays, although that is from 2022. But that is what it looks like inside. And I'm sure this would be very cool to come to on a day that it is open. But alas, I didn't plan that well enough. And also, it'd be probably pretty hard to get here on weekends. I don't know if that bus runs on weekends. But yeah, that was Hopewell Junction. Now I'm gonna run back to my bus and get on said bus back to Beacon. I know I'm doing a lot of reversing in this video to show you the final remnant of this insane and bizarre abandoned railroad, the Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut. So I'll see you back at the bus. Okay, this is the old Matteawan Station. It's now a shop. Up here it says Matteawan Station. Over there. Yeah, the Beacon line is a lot more weeded out and grown over than when it was last year. I think it's been officially, at least like it's now like officially discontinued, or like not an operation. I know the STB didn't let the MTA abandon it for some reason. But yeah, this is the old station. Top level, I'm not sure what it is. The mid level, the shop, and the bottom level is someone's house. So that was the insane saga of this bizarre and really cool and weird abandoned railroad, the Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut Railroad. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.